Hello again, everybody, and welcome back. This is Weather PowerPoint number 2, the air we breathe, and we're going to talk about air. Quick quiz for you. What 3 things must all living things have on this planet to live? Well, if you answered pizza, soda pop, and clouds, you're wrong. Actually, we need food to eat, water to drink, and of course, air to breathe. Without food, we're going to die in just a few weeks. Without water, a few days. But without air, we're all going to die in just a few minutes. After all, how long can you hold your breath? I'm done. The atmosphere is the layer of air that surrounds our planet. Oh, look! Down there, you see it? It's a bold-faced, underlined word. That means it's time to hit pause, write that word down on your study guide sheet, and then unpause me so we can continue the lecture. Go ahead, I'll wait. Okay, you done? Good. The atmosphere surrounds the Earth and protects us by blocking out dangerous rays of the sun. The atmosphere is made up entirely of gas. In fact, it is composed mostly of nitrogen, 78% to be exact, and oxygen is only 21% of the air we breathe in. Yeah, that smells about right. The last 1% is made up of other gases like helium, and carbon dioxide, and water vapor, and a whole ton of others. Now, even though we can't see the air, it is there. It even has weight. And as we sit in this room, and as you sit in your room, it is pushing down on us at a rate of about 15 pounds per square inch. In other words, it's kind of like having a 15-pound brick sitting on our heads. Now, I know what you're thinking. What? Imagine, well, have you ever gone swimming before? Yeah? Okay. And have you ever swam all the way down to the very bottom of the pool? You know, down 10, 12 feet to the deep end? Well, Bill is photobombing again. Quit it, Bill. You get down to the bottom of the pool, and what happens? Your nose, your eyes, your ears, they start getting squished by the water pressure. It feels like your eyes are going to go and like bulge out of your head, and your ears are all getting squished, and your whole head. That is water pressure. Because above you, you have 10, 12 feet of water all pushing down on you. Air is the same as water, but completely different because air is so much less dense than water. It takes a lot more of it. You notice it quickly after 10 feet of water, but if you climb 10 feet up a ladder, you wouldn't notice it quite so much, if anything. You see, our atmosphere extends up for many, many miles. And if we were to look at a column of air, just a straight little column, and if I started right here and went all the way up to the very top of the atmosphere, okay, up here at the very top, there would be very few particles of air. Down here at the bottom, where we are, there would be a lot of particles. It would be very dense, squeezing and squishing on us. The particles at the bottom would be very close together and very dense. And I think I just said that, but hey, think about this another way. Things push down from the top. So, the air molecules closest to the ground are very, very dense and close together. The amount of air pressing down at the surface is called air pressure. The lower you are to the ground, the higher the air pressure. The higher in the sky you go, the lower the air pressure. Now, the Earth's atmosphere is divided into 5 layers. We have the Exosphere, the Thermosphere, then the Mesosphere, the Stratosphere, and finally the Troposphere. Now, the Exosphere is at the Earth's very top of the atmosphere, and up here the air is incredibly thin. In fact, it is at this layer where single molecules of air and little atoms of air will kind of float off out into space. We're actually losing air off the top of our planet here. But don't worry, we got a whole bunch of it. We're going to be just fine. The thermosphere is the 4th layer of the Earth's atmosphere. And the interesting about thermosphere is A, that it's almost 400 kilometers thick, but B, that during the day, the temperatures in the thermosphere can get upwards of 1,500 degrees Celsius. That's about 2,700 degrees Fahrenheit. How hot is that? Well, you know that nice car sitting out in the front there in the driveway or in the garage? If we took Mom and Dad's car and put it up here in the thermosphere, it would melt. True story. The next layer is the Mesosphere. It's the third layer in our atmosphere. And the Mesosphere, the temperatures actually invert. Where it was 1500 degrees Celsius in the thermosphere, in this layer we have a complete and total flippage, inversion. The temperature in this layer of the atmosphere actually gets down to negative 90 degrees Celsius. If you're wondering how cold that is, you would be an ice cube if you were floating around up here in a very short amount of time. Next up is the stratosphere. This is the second layer of the Earth's atmosphere. And what is interesting to note here is A, it's about 40 kilometers thick, and B, because of the ozone that is in this layer, it causes the heat of the layer to rise as you get higher up in the atmosphere. So the higher up you get, the warmer it gets. Crazy, right? The final layer is the troposphere. This is the lowest layer of the Earth's atmosphere. The troposphere extends from the ground to about 10 kilometers straight up in the sky. The surface of the Earth absorbs the sun's energy and heats up faster than the air above it does. So the sun up here shines down on the ground gets hot, and that heats up the air. Thus, the air in the troposphere is heated from the ground up. The heat spreads throughout the troposphere because the air is slightly unstable. This instability we refer to, of course, as the wind. And the wind blows and spreads the heated air all throughout the troposphere. Scared you, didn't I? Gotcha. Weather occurs in the Earth's atmosphere. And yes, indeed, folks, the troposphere is where we live. All right, quiz time. I know you've been looking forward to it. You'll notice down there at the bottom you've got 4 true and false questions. And what I'd like for you to do is hit pause on this little thing as soon as all these questions are done scrolling out. There we go. I want you to hit pause, and I want you to answer all these questions if you would, and then unpause me when you are ready to go. All right, so I'm assuming you have unpaused me now and you are ready to go. So, number 1, true or false, we live in the stratosphere. What do you think, Bill? Bill the cat has joined me to give the answers. And yes, Bill is correct. That is false. We do not live in the stratosphere. We live in the troposphere. Number 2, true or false. The troposphere has the greatest air pressure of all the layers of our atmosphere. Nope, sorry, Bill. That is true. Oh, you knew that, didn't you? Yes, the troposphere, it's where we live. We are down here at the very bottom. Remember, the air, it stacks up, it pushes down, and as you get to the bottom of the pool, it's the biggest squeeze. So if you were at the bottom of the atmosphere, that too is where the air is going to have the biggest squeeze. Right, Bill? Right. All right. Number 3, the top layer of the atmosphere is called the Biosphere. What do you think, Bill? Bill says, nah, and he is correct. It's actually the Exosphere, as in exit. And finally, the Mesosphere is the layer in which weather occurs. What do you think? Bill, chewing on my finger, clearly is indicating that this is false, that this is in fact the Troposphere. If you did well on this test, good for you. If not, you might want to go back and rewatch this video so that you can understand all the concepts. Thank you for paying attention and being a wonderful listening group. For Bill the cat, say goodbye, Bill. Goodbye, Bill. Everybody have a great night. We'll see you soon.